Hello and welcome to this week's Generation Iron podcast. Your host, me, Victor Martinez, along with Edwin Mejia and Vlad Yudin. Welcome.
Sorry, we miss you, man.
Yeah, that sounds living the life.
We are back in Manhattan today. You guys want to do the? How you been, by the way? Everything good?
Good. What you guys doing?
Good to see you.
Chilling, man.
Back in HQ.
Summer's done. Back to school.
Summer is done, yeah.
I like that new Mets hat, man. It's all classic.
Oh, you were in LA?
I'm an LA Dodgers fan too, but I'm more of a Mets fan myself.
I'm a Mets fan because he's a Mets fan, actually.
And I know Vic is a Yankee fan.
Yankee. I like the Yankees, man. You know, they have to shave their beards.
Yeah. Yeah. In that case, that brings us to the first question, and the question of the week that's brought to us by Tony B5538. Thank you, Tony, for submitting your question. The question, Vic, is quick question. As an older gym goer, being 50, I understand about working every body part for symmetry and how one body part helps another. But if you only train upper body, chest, back, shoulders, and arms, and no legs, will that limit your upper body growth? I asked this question because I cannot train legs as I used to have lower back problems. Thanks.
So he wants to avoid training legs completely, basically.
Because you have a little lower back problem. I don't think that's a good enough excuse. I know many people that I have trained. I also had a little back problem, like maybe about 5 times.
And you still train legs.
And you still have to do legs. There's always a way around it, you know? I mean, there's always leg press. It doesn't have to always be squat. I mean, there's always leg extension. There's always seated leg press, vertical leg press. There's so many different ways.
Machines are made for that, right?
To take a lot of the pressure from your lower back. But if you do want to get that Johnny Bravo, Mighty Mouse effect, I mean, because you don't like legs, you want to have somebody to make it feel okay for you not to do legs. You have to do legs, at least a little bit. And it actually helps your upper body growth, but you need that base. You gotta have that good base, unless you're gonna start doing pommel horse or the Olympics or something, I don't know. I mean, again, there's a lot of guys that compete in wheelchairs that would love to do legs, but they can't. So don't give yourself the excuse, find a solution. Do legs, keep a well-balanced body, create that base, have that base. You're gonna feel good about yourself. I know a lot of people, even when I first started, there was a few guys that had great professional upper bodies, but they had below beginners lower body. And it's just not a good look. You won't feel good. I mean, somebody can blow too hard your way, a puff of smoke, and you're gonna tip over. So please just do your legs. You're gonna find yourself feeling better, looking better. And, you do yourself a favor.
He's also asking here, which is, I agree with you 100%, but what he's also asking here is that if he's just training his upper body with no legs, would that affect his upper body, development without training? Because the legs, he's assuming, is going to affect your whole physique, you know what I mean?
I mean, you're going to create another problem, You're going to start carrying all this extra muscle in your upper body. And you're not gonna be training your legs. It could result to some sort of injury. It's just not gonna be a good feeling, a good look, And then you're gonna find yourself into another problem, another situation. You're working out, a public gym, whatever. You're gonna be afraid to wear shorts in the summer. It's criticism. It's just, it's gonna create a whole new other problem. I mean, how bad is your back problem that you cannot pop a little Percocet to get? No, don't do that. No. I'm just saying, there's always a way around it, And pain pills is not it. So don't go there.
We're just kidding.
But just it's just one of these things. Listen. I train many guys. They always had either a back problem or a knee problem. You had a knee problem? Okay, let's stay away from the leg extension. Let's focus on real light leg press, Like even one plate. One plate is nothing. Of course not, But try doing 50 reps.
Right.
Just one of those things. Do high reps. You don't have to. It's just the fear of putting weight on your back, compressing on your lower back, or anything like that, and you not doing your breathing, correct breathing while you're performing the exercise, creating the lightheadedness. It's very uncomfortable to do something you're not comfortable with, but you have to find a way, find a solution. There's so many different ways. I guarantee you, if I trained you for just 1 hour doing your legs, I could actually help you change your mind,
I agree.
And it's all about execution, how you perform the exercise, what exercises you're doing, what machines. Not two machines are created equally, so also be critical of what machines you're using. If you use a bad leg press, a bad hack squat or anything like that, it's just don't give up. Try to go to another gym, try different equipment. You're gonna find a way, and you're gonna love it once you do.
I hope you actually got through to him. I hope this gentleman.
Yeah, I hope so. And again, I'm not here saying, you're lying about your back problem. We all have some sort of issue. I had knee problems to a point that I couldn't train legs for a while, but I found a way that I could actually help stabilize my knee, warming up a little bit longer. And even after I got operated, we still find a solution. So that's the finest thing about bodybuilding is we don't quit. We just find a different route, to continue.
Exactly. All right. What's the guy's name again?
So you're Tony B5538. You're this week's winner. Get your selection of Dial Moods energy drink. Check them out. Dial Moods is an incredible line of energy drinks and flavors that no crash. Dial your mood up. Try them out. Shout out to Dial Moods as well, and you get your selection this week.
All right.
These motivational questions always come up, and questions about, hey Vic, what is your biggest fear that you overcame in your career? Those are great questions, and that's a question that just came up. And the question is, what is Vic's ultimate fear and how he overcame it?
Yeah, so that's a good one.
So many. I mean, while bodybuilding is this bodybuilding or just life in general?
I think it's good to ask maybe both, but maybe
Yeah. In bodybuilding, the worst fear was being incapable or just, living up to your hype, or even not just, the hype through magazines at the time, through social media, but also yourself, just, getting to reach your own potential. And, for me, it was, I'm fighting to reach my potential, but then I had situations in life that were keeping me from pursuing it. So I had a double-edged sword, and it's one of those things, just do what you can when you can and forget about, the challenges. The challenges will always be there. Not being able to get in shape, or you're 6 weeks out and you're still behind. Wow, that's the worst feeling. It's the worst feeling because now you want to keep training a little bit more, training harder, and to a point that you're just in a treadmill, not losing an ounce. And it's one of those things that you have
catching up, right?
Yeah, it starts catching up to you, but don't be afraid to reach out. Reach out to another fellow pro that's not gonna just ignore your desperation, or your coach, try to revamp your schedule, revamp your diet, your supplementation, reach out to your coach. And then in life, it's just quitting should never be an option. Quitting should not be an option. And if it's a job, just let it burn, let that job go. It could be a better job. If it's a girlfriend, let that burn as well. You have to be a little callous too. You have to be a little callous, a little bold. Not giving up can actually save your life.
Yeah.
So, and again, whichever way you want to put it, you're religious, you're waiting for your God to save you or anything like that. You know what? Don't wait. Be bold. Make a bold move. The universe and God's favor is the bold sometimes. Because being cornered, the art of war is being cornered, and how are you going to react? That's when you actually fight your hardest. So it's just take a chance.
Do you think it's disloyal? I agree with 100%. Do you think it's disloyal? Like, let's say you're training for a competition, you have a coach, and then like you reach out to another coach on the side for advice. Is that disloyal?
Don't do that because you're now confusing yourself. I seen that.
Because they give you opposite.
No, but I seen that, and I seen guys actually doing that to me. They asked me a question. Hey, Victor, what do you think about this supplement or this training? I'm like, well, my first question when they do ask me a question is, do you have a coach? And that's just me. Out of respect, out of the coach, I don't know him from a hole in the wall. Don't know the person, the girl, the guy, or ex-athlete, whatever. I don't know, but that is one of my questions back to the athlete. And they say, yes, I do. Why? I said, well, I don't want to confuse you anymore. You know, they have the methods. I have my own. If you have a coach already, listen, just tell him you're concerned.
But that happens.
It happens.
George Farley told me like pros contact him. Like they contact him, they have a different coach.
They go around coach whoring, and it's just not, you know, it's just coach whoring. You want to hear something to make you feel okay that you were right, but at the end of the day, if you're going to be with your coach, just discuss this with your coach. If your coach can't help you or find a solution, maybe you need to start cutting ties.
That means you don't trust that coach.
Yeah,
second guessing the coach.
Yes, you're second guessing it, but going around coach whoring and just want to hear something from a different, you're just going to add to the problem. You're going to add to the confusion. It's going to not help you at all unless you want to start doing something else, trusting yourself. Just do it on your own. You know what? Ask the questions around. You know, pretty much put something together on your own and trust yourself. Do it on your own.
Speaking of frights, did you ever had to overcome stage fright? You know, a lot of bodybuilders that have to put on posing trunks to go on the stage in front of the judges. Like it's kind of like a right. It's like doing public speaking in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Did you overcome that easily or no?
Yeah, I was petrified, scared as hell, going up there in my freaking underoos. You know, that's basically Speedos. But I gotta tell you, I looked at it kind of like a wormhole. When I was backstage, I'd be nervous as hell. When I stepped on stage, it was gone.
Confidence.
It was gone because one thing I didn't do was look at the audience. Just look at the back of the room. Then eventually after, you know, getting comfortable, you will start looking at the judges to just kind of have that connection, you know, between you and the judges and just getting that, you know, but definitely don't focus on the people, you know, just make yourself a different backdrop of what you see. A lot of times there's lights, so you only see his lights and just get
blinded by that's actually a helpful thing.
Yeah, right? Get lost in yourself. That's why I recommend to pose a lot, you know, go silly, go crazy, and just be daring. Yeah. I think daring is one of the things the most other times when you think it doesn't make sense and you're too judgmental of yourself, you're too critical of yourself, when you get up there, just freaking go nuts and just do it, man. If it's a pose you don't really believe in, try it and it might work, you know, but definitely you have to get over it by just going up there head first. You know, I don't mean I did a little one, okay?
And then, you know, well, obviously, bodybuilding shows have changed a lot these days. Obviously, there's a lot of them. And, you know, one of the things that always comes up is now that, well, you see a lot of promoters, they're being very careful with what's being recorded because of pay-per-view.
That is so funny to me.
So I guess people are not, I guess some promoters are not allowing cell phones.
Literally, like if you go to the bodybuilding, not everybody, but I've heard, I'm not going to point out who, right? You go to a bodybuilding show, I'm sure you've heard of them before.
Yeah.
And people usually, you know, they either film the stage or they take pictures and they right away not put the phone down because in 2020 they started doing the pay-per-views and they think that you're going to steal their like traffic or something, you know what I mean?
He's not going to steal the traffic again because he has somebody that has 50 followers, 100 followers, whatever. I mean, it's not going to steal the traffic. I know what they're trying to do. At the end of the day, people are still going to find a way to do it. You know, you got GoPro cameras. You have, you know,
they're looking out for them.
You know, back in the days when I remember the pirating of films, the guys would go into the theater with the trench coat. if you see somebody at a bodybuilding show with a trench coat, they might be recording something, but a GoPro, there's so many things you can just wear now and just kind of stream.
Well, you can see you can actually get a Ray-Bans now. They have come with the
that's
glasses
true.
too now. So
That's a good point, actually.
There's always a way, you know. So I mean, being strict and kind of monitoring every person that's actually at the show, trying to record the show, you might catch a few, but you're gonna get a few people that slip by.
But then when you go to UFC match, everybody's taking pictures of the. I think at comedy shows they make you take the phone and put it like in a storage unit or something.
Yeah. The worst thing that can happen is you're gonna get kicked out. You're gonna get blacklisted. You're gonna get, you know, and that's it. That's all it's gonna happen.
But you go to a UFC game, go to an NBA hockey game. Everybody has phones.
Yeah, you know, don't record whatever. This is, you know.
You're not gonna broadcast the whole freaking game. You know what I mean? Like,
they're not gonna do it. I mean, most fights that I do watch are not even paid for. They just streamed for a little while. I mean, at the end of the day, you're not going to get the full experience, you know. You're going to get a few shaking videos and all that. But you say you saw the fight. Not really. You didn't see the fight. You saw bits and pieces of it.
Right.
You won't get the full effect.
It's not the same thing.
And again, you know, stealing a few views and recording a few things, I'm not saying it's cool. It's going to save them tons of money. But again, just avoid the problems. You know, you don't want to be that person. Just pay for the show. I mean, it's not much. They usually, you know, as little as $30, as much as $100. Again, just enjoy it. Don't be a pirate and just chill, man. You know, so support the industry. I know they do make a lot of money, you know, and again, people are gonna sneak a few videos and shots, but just don't be that person. Don't embarrass yourself by being kicked out, you know, being warned. It's just not a good look.
But why are they so worried about, like, who's gonna, you know what I mean? It's just,
they just, again, it's just you know, they want to get the views. They want to be the exclusive.
Sure.
You know, the exclusive. You saw it on our channel. And again, I keep saying a few people recording, you know, one category is not going to give you the effect of the entire show. So just pay, and it's not much for streaming an actual show now. It's like $29 now or something.
For the show, yeah.
You know, sometimes it's $14.99. It's really not much. So if you're really hurting that bad, you know, maybe you should be thinking about something else instead of being at the show. You should be looking for a better hustle.
Yeah.
You know.
Speaking of shows, you have Kyle Landy competing at a show in LA at the Muscle Beach.
Muscle Contest, yeah, Muscle Beach.
And I think he might be the first male Canadian bodybuilder with Down syndrome to compete at a bodybuilding show. I think there was a female before, but I'm not sure. He might be one of the first ones.
All right. So it's just an open category.
So yeah, he competed at this show. Yeah. So Kyle Landy, who's very well known as bodybuilder with Down syndrome from Canada.
Oh, that's the guy that he poses with Kai, I seen, right?
Yeah. So
everybody loves that. He's in the 20s, buddy.
Right. He competed at the Muscle Beach show in Venice, and you know, shout out to him. He looked incredible.
No, that's great. That's great to see. I mean, he's going to motivate a whole entire different group of people, somebody who actually can relate to him, can have other people in the family that suffer from Down syndrome. This is great. I'm glad he's doing it. He's definitely opening up new doors. I just hope they don't treat him any special.
Right.
You know, at the show, you know, regardless, you know, of how good or bad he looks. I hope they award him based on how he really looks.
Right.
Because showing him any favors is actually going to create more negative than good.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm excited for him.
Well, he should be ready. I think he will be ready. I think he's going to do good. And
we're also working on a documentary about him as well. It's very impressive.
Yeah. I mean, the worst thing that can happen, and I like looking at both, you know, that he does compete. He's going to motivate any kids or anybody, any fans with Down syndrome. He's going to motivate. If he beats some guy who doesn't have Down syndrome, it's like, dude, man, it's like, yo, man, be ready to get roasted, man.
I want to ask your opinion on something. So Dorian Yates said a while ago, actually, that calves and forearms are missing in today's bodybuilding.
Yeah.
What do you think about that statement, and do you think is right, wrong, or it's a crazy statement, right?
I mean, guys shouldn't neglect their forearms or their calves, you know? I mean, I think a lot of guys need to actually make it part of their regimen, because not doing the body part because they feel, hey, I'm training it indirectly, you know, when I do bicep, you know? But at the end of the day, if your biceps and your triceps and your quads are growing up, you know, at a certain rate, and your calves are being ignored, it's just gonna give you more problems when you step on that stage if you're competing. And we are talking about only competing.
Of course.
You know? Yeah.
So you think they don't train him anymore? Do you think Dorian is right on that?
I mean, some people don't train them because they actually have already huge calves. Those I can understand.
Like, I think Nick Walker has natural big calves.
Yeah. Some people are naturally big
like
calves.
Him, like, you know, like guys like that have natural calves probably already. So.
Yes. So on that case, fine. You know, also forearms. Some guys can have, you know, big forearms, but if you don't, just set that time aside, man. Do it, you know, buy a calf machine for your house. Do it at home if you don't want to do it in the gym. You know, forearms, you can do that at home. You don't need a gym for that, you know. But I should definitely say, if this is what you're doing, this is what you live for, this is what you prepare for, like, don't slack, man. Just freaking do it.
What is the recommendation, like, let's say if you want to train your forearms, for example? Would you do it on arm day?
Yeah, do it on arm days, which is basically just gonna take about
how many sets?
5-10 minutes, maybe.
5 sets?
10 minutes, you know.
How many exercises? How many sets?
I mean, you could do 2 exercises.
2 exercises.
Yeah, you can do 2 exercises. If they're really lagging, you can. I mean, 2 exercises, 3 to 4 sets each, and just high reps. Your forearms and your calves are high reps.
So it's like
you gotta
lower
be
weight
at least. No, I mean, for calves, you want to get that. I mean, start with lower, obviously, activate the muscle, but definitely you got to pulverize it, man. I mean,
you got to burn.
Yeah. I mean, for forearms, it's so many easy exercises, and it doesn't take that much effort. You know, for calves, it's more the connection, where the person does not want to do calves. It's more the connection. So
yeah, it's like the forgotten muscle when you go to the gym. You know?
Yeah. Come on, guys. Just do your calves, man. Especially living in Florida, California. What are you gonna do? Never wear shorts? Come on.
Yeah.
Vic, what is the biggest career advice would you give to an amateur bodybuilder starting out today, specifically?
Oh man, you gotta get with the program. You got so much you gotta do. I mean, now I don't think any shows, you're gonna enter a show, the first thing they ask is for your social media handle, you know? So you gotta be more active, you gotta have your social media handle, you gotta have your website. And again, you're making a career out of this. Right. So you gotta, you know, make sense of it and make dollars of it as well. You know, have somebody, you know, I would recommend, and this is just me, but I would recommend getting either somebody who's very successful in bodybuilding to kind of help you if you know them well and they do have the time. A lot of times they don't have the time, or get somebody that has been through the grind that can basically tell you, this is what I did wrong.
Right.
You know, so they won't go through that same cycle of failure, you know, and just do well at the shows, you know. If you feel like the first 2 shows your coach didn't work, it's a business. Just change it up, change your coach up, you know, create some, you know, some gear, some apparel. Obviously, have to get your sponsors, you know. Sponsors now are looking at your social media, so be very active.
As an amateur, you probably wouldn't be able to get a sponsor. Unless you're following.
No, as an amateur, you won't be. But as an amateur, you can still build your social media that's going to create an attraction from these sponsors.
I think what Vic is also saying is that you need an exit strategy before you start. So you need to have a strategy in place.
Yeah, and one of the problems too is, I mean, I went through it. You almost try to do the bodybuilding and try to have a social, you know, lifestyle where it's not going to work. You know, you want to keep it business, competitive, do the shows. After the shows, it was like one big hangout, one big party.
Right.
And again, that's not
Sound
always.
Factory.
Yeah, well, guilty. But again, it was different times. But you can get lost in translation there, and you're gonna miss out on a few things, and it's gonna cloud your mind and your focus to the main task at hand, which is, succeed in bodybuilding, plan something, get out.
I recently interviewed Samson Daa, right? And obviously one of the top prospects for Olympia this year. Incredible interview where he opened up about struggling for many, many years after he got his pro card, struggling financially, him and his wife, putting everything into his bodybuilding career, doing shows and not placing, not getting the money. And he gave himself, he was going to give up. Incredible interview with on Generation Iron. He was really going to say, okay, I'm giving myself one more year. If something doesn't happen, I'm quitting this thing. Like, I can't do this anymore. I'm borrowing money. Like, I can't do this anymore. And then breakthrough year, he wins the Arnold, and the trajectory goes in a different direction.
But you see, that's
what a story, right?
That's perfect, because one of the things, the first 2 years, I was just flopping left and right,
He was surviving this.
Yeah, and again, I was hustling just to kind of, compete. I was bartending, I was doing whatever and anything, and it was just, not doing the posing though for the schmoes, but I was doing pretty much anything.
You got past that quick, huh?
No, because
schmoes keep coming up on the show.
Well, it's one of those things, you're bringing up hard times, you're bringing up, you can't afford to bodybuild, you're borrowing money, you get in a situation where people can prey on your very
easily because you need money.
On your needs, so people can take advantage of that.
You ever sold your used underwear or rented them?
They would just steal them. They would just steal them, bro. I didn't even sell them, bro. They would just steal them, man. So if you sold them, give me my cut, man. But it's always. But one of the things, don't make quitting an option, because once you quit, you're out, and then what? Now you're really doing nothing at all.
Different career, I guess. At that point.
Yeah. I mean, but the borrowing money, the hard times, they will happen. They will happen, and it's just these things you can't plan on. But staying steady, staying focused, creating content, preparing for shows. I mean, I miss the grind, I miss the process, and it's one of those things that once it's over, be ready to do something else.
Some people have a dream, right? Dream to be, let's say, an athlete, right? So at some point you realize, it's not going to happen. And that's a very bitter thing to face.
To admit and face is hard.
Even internally, I'm saying, to face that, I'm not going to be a bodybuilder, right? I mean,
it's hard. And again, are you going to be one of these guys that has the potential? You have the muscles, you have, the genetics to do it, or is this just something you refuse because you think you deserve? That's a whole other different field too.
Have you ever had to tell a client or just a friend, like, listen, you might as well not do this anymore? Have you ever had to tell somebody that truth?
No, because I always found a way to get them on stage.
At least.
Always found a way.
Just so you can experience.
To at least place, and then from there, let's get somewhere, and then let's try to find out where else you can get, But usually not trying it, not having that chance and knowing, I think it's worse. It's worse off, because then you'll never know. The universe and your drive can make the pieces, fall into place. So not trying, not giving it a chance is the worst thing you can do. And the people that, tell you can't do it, those are the ones, that should be motivating you even more to do it.
That's a good point, Vic.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Thank you for joining us in this week's podcast. Remember, you want to see any of our prior podcasts, go to iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you stream. Remember to like, comment, and follow. Until next time.
No, stop. Who are you? I'm the guy that's gonna change your life. Introducing Carnivore. 100% beef protein, 0 sugar, and lactose free, which means it's not gonna upset your stomach like this. You gotta try this. Best part about it is, beef builds muscle, so you're gonna grow. I'm just gonna take this away. You don't need this, man.